I have a great privilege to introduce to you someone in my life who makes me emotional when I want to introduce her. So, anyways, I'm telling you, man, you have no idea. The first 2-3 months, my sponsor, Sheila Fejeran, was on the phone with me 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times a day, every day. And the worst thing you could do if you want to bother me is come up and say, well, I know you're busy. I didn't want to bother you. You need to stop that. Your sponsor, your sponsor, we want to be bothered. And if one of them doesn't, then that's on them, right? But don't say that. And reach out and ask for help. I just was one who's just saying, help. A voice crying in the wind. And Sheila talked to me again and again and again and gave me so much help those first 2 or 3 months. And we just came out the gates just rocking. We just came out, 6 guns a-blazing, and wow. And so she was so amazing in my life and James's life. We love her. It was so much fun to talk to her every time we talk. We cry half the time we talk. And so it's my privilege to introduce to you my sponsor, and everybody here is in her business, Sheila Fejeran. Give her a hand.
Got to take a breath after that one. Makes me want to cry. I'm Sheila Fejeran, and as you can see, we've been a little busy the last couple years. I've been at EXP a little under 2 years, and it has been nothing short of a true miracle of what has happened. And I know many of you can relate to this that are sitting in this room who've been here even a short time because of the success that you're having. And originally, I've been in the business about 15 years. Started out originally on the new home sales side, building custom homes for David Weekley, a national builder, and then moved into the agency side and wound up quickly running a brokerage that was the number one or the exclusive broker for HUD from Dallas to Arkansas. Built that company up to 12 offices in 4 states and 15 REO contracts and the HUD contract. So I was working 17 hours a day, killing myself, trying to just make a living. And the market started turning, and the gentleman who owned the company was older. He's in his 70s. And so I really had to do everything. And I said, we really have to do something or we're going to be out of business. Because HUD was starting to sell in bundles to the hedge funds, and I saw the writing on the wall. And so I actually wound up seeing this email for this coaching company and talked him into going with me. I said, we need to go figure out how to do traditional. So I had actually never sold a traditional home, until 5 years ago because I did all HUD and REO. And it's very different for those of you, Marguerite, wherever you are, on that side of the business. Completely different than doing traditional. And I'm pleased to announce that there's a gentleman here by the name of Matt Graham. I don't know where he's at, if you can stand up. He was my first coach. He's way back there. So grateful that he's joined EXP. He was actually a Keller Williams owner and an independent owner. And he is truly my little angel because he helped me really get over the hump and get into the traditional business. So first, before I start, what I'd really like to do is thank you, each one of you. I'm going to get emotional. Most of the people in this room are, because of Brent, on my team too. And as much as we are trying desperately to pour into you, I just want to say thank you because of what a blessing you are to us and what you have done in our lives. And I know you feel the same way, that we keep giving, but I just want you to know how much you've done for us. there are a few other men in this room that really, truly, completely changed my life. And Rob Flick left yesterday. He obviously is my sponsor. Gene Frederick is somewhere here. If it wasn't for those two men, I wouldn't be here, and neither would you, the same way, because those men really went out on a line to help me come here. And then James and Brent have obviously transformed my life with the work that they've done and how hard they've worked to bring all of you. And I am forever in debt to those two men, and I love them like brothers. Whew, this is harder than I thought it would be. You're not emotional until you get up here. I don't know what that's all about. Okay, so there's one more man I want to talk about, and he is the most important man in my life. And he was the greatest leader in history, and in 3 years, he turned the world upside down. And he changed history, literally. And whether you believe in Jesus or not, there is no denying the impact he had on history. And when you look at leadership and you look at movements, and I think about we are a movement, right? I look at leaders and movements, how did he do what he did in the time that he did? Jesus had a radical work ethic. With single-minded focus, he came to save the world. He worked tirelessly, all of his energy, all of his time, all of his focus. Everything he had was spent literally working to accomplish his goal. When I think about that, I think about Brent Gove. For those of you that know Brent, the man works literally to the bone. And he just pours himself. Everybody I've talked to here just talks about how Brent pours himself out. And it's like, how does he talk to all of us? How does he stay in touch with all of us? He's always available for all of us. But that kind of heart, that kind of hard work, and just really giving yourself to people. Jesus had radical faith. He had a faith that moved mountains. He healed the sick. He raised the dead. And when I think of faith, I think of Gene Frederick. Gene truly is the visionary in this room. Gene sold his region. He sold his 6 offices and came to this little tiny company with 400 agents that nobody had ever heard of because he had faith and he realized what could be from what was. Jesus had radical love. When people were even torturing and killing him, he asked his Father to forgive them because they didn't know what they were doing. And when I think of love, I think of James, for those of you guys that know James. James has an unbelievable love. He is so sensitive to people, so caring about people. I know he's a spreadsheet dude, and I know you'll see his stuff here in a bit. But you're not a number to James. He cares about each one of you, and he loves each person. And why am I saying this to you? Because truly, I believe that we are going to change the world. And why is this important? Because the world needs saving. The world needs their lives changed. And many of you in here have had your lives changed because of this company, because of what's going on, because of what the opportunity is, and because of what we're being given. There are people that I've brought into the company that were going to lose their homes because they were literally not able to pay their mortgage anymore. I've brought people into the company that were hundreds and thousands of dollars in debt in taxes because they were actually successful agents. Funny how that works, huh? And I'm going to be very kind of vulnerable here, okay? Are you guys okay with that? So when Rob met me, and only a few of you know this, I was married to a drug addict. He would disappear for weeks at a time. I wouldn't know if he was alive or dead. I was living in a very chaotic situation. He had threatened my life 5 times. He had tried to commit suicide 9. Every time I tried to leave, he would try to kill himself to keep me to stay. And here I am, a successful broker running a company, but yet personally, I was suffering silently. Rob and Jean, Brent and James, they had no idea what was going on with me when we started building this team. But what this company gave me was hope. It gave me a vision. It gave me financial freedom to escape the situation I was in. And my encouragement to you today is to have a radical work ethic, to have a radical faith, to have a radical love for people. Because whether you realize it or not, when you pick up that phone or when you invite that person to lunch, they're not a number on the board. You actually might be saving that person's life. God bless you.